Reid in Charleston, South Carolina.
How you guys doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. I'm 17 years old, from Charleston. I don't claim to know everything, but if I get in a factually based argument with you guys, I'm going to get destroyed. But I do want to hear you guys' opinion because I respect it. I'm a Christian. I do want to hear you guys' opinion on a few subjects.
Okay.
First of all, it's pretty much scientifically accepted that time, space, and matter are finite.
As they exist today, they basically came into existence at the Big Bang, according to mainstream science.
Right. Okay. My question to you is it possible that God can exist outside of the ramifications, time, matter, and space?
Can I take
Does that justify
Sure,
his
go
existence?
ahead.
What you're presenting is a form of an argument called the argument from ignorance, which basically says if you don't know the answer to a particular question, then my answer works, right? So yes, it is possible that there's a God there, but it's not a proof that there is a God. Do you see what I'm saying?
Right.
So yeah, and this sort of thing has come up a lot. There's a famous quote about a teapot in orbit around Mars, right? We can't necessarily prove it, but that doesn't mean it's there, right? So an atheist is not going to be convinced by an argument from ignorance. You want to have positive evidence for whatever your claim is, and that ain't it.
Right.
So yeah, there may be a God somewhere. There may be a God before the beginning of the universe. There may be a God, under a rock on a planet on the other side of the universe. There may be, who knows, right?
Or it may all have been space aliens who created life on Earth. You could be a Raelian, but we're not claiming to have certain divine knowledge that this stuff doesn't exist. We're just saying you don't believe in things until there's a good reason leading you in that direction.
Right.
Right.
So learning about the logical fallacies is a good thing, so that you can kind of become aware of them and sort of either avoid them or not be taken in by them.
Right. Another question I had: what do you guys believe on the origin of life?
The scientific consensus is that the complexity and diversity of life came about through evolution, and they're currently doing research on the beginning of life, which is called abiogenesis, and there's a couple of theories on that, a couple of experiments that show it might have happened as far as an RNA initial life form. The short answer is we don't know, right?
Right. There are a bunch of different proposed scientific hypotheses which don't rise to the level of theory yet, that explain where first life may have come from. But the problem is that there are so many different possibilities that there's not a good way to choose between them at this point.
Right, and one thing needs to be said, though, is that all of these theories, all these scientific theories or proto-theories are kind of plausible, right? That life might have started this way and through these chemical reactions and these sorts of things, and none of them involve, a God, right? None of them involve magic. And I think that's the takeaway message, is that there are plausible explanations. We don't know the exact answer, but there are plausible explanations for a lot of different ways that life might have been created. Is that fair enough?
Sure, yeah.
You still there? We might have lost him.
You still there? Okay. Sorry.
Maybe you got some feedback or something.
I would recommend that he seemed like a perfectly nice guy.
Yeah.
And I I would recommend that before bringing this question to atheists, you should try to really understand the science behind this as it's currently understood. And that means, like, you can actually start at Wikipedia, because even though it's easily edited by a lot of people, when it comes to discussing what most people believe, it usually converges to a reasonable starting point to educate yourself. So, like, look up abiogenesis on Wikipedia. Also, talkorigins.org, which is a big archive full of basic educational materials about evolution, is a good place to look to see what the current mainstream ideas are about that.
And a good introductory book is Why Evolution is True from Jerry Coyne. That's a pretty good one.
Also, River Out of Eden by Richard Dawkins is a little bit old.
Okay.